California, a land where dreams take root and stories unfold under the open sky. Stretching along the western edge of the United States, California is more than just a state. It is a world of its own. From the rolling hills of wine country to the rugged cliffs of the Pacific coast, from vast deserts to towering redwood forests, California holds an unmatched diversity of landscapes. It is a place where nature and culture blend in vibrant harmony. This land has long been a symbol of opportunity. During the gold rush of the 1840s, thousands crossed plains and mountains, chasing a better life. That spirit still lingers in the air. It hums through the streets of cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles, and echoes across quiet valleys and windswept shores. Home to nearly 40 million people, California is shaped by countless cultures and histories. Indigenous tribes, Spanish explorers, gold seekers, immigrants, artists, and pioneers each left their mark, creating a mosaic that is always evolving. Today, California stands as a global center for film, technology, agriculture, and innovation. But beyond its industries, what draws so many here is something harder to define. Maybe it is the light. Cradled in the heart of the Sierra Nevada mountains, Yosemite Valley is a masterpiece carved by time. Its granite walls rise like ancient cathedrals, shaped by ice and wind over millions of years. Here, nature speaks in bold strokes. El Capitan towers over the valley floor, a sheer cliff of stone that has challenged and inspired generations of climbers. Beside it, Half Dome curves gracefully into the sky, its surface polished by the slow power of glaciers long vanished. The valley stretches for just over 7 miles, but within that space lies a world of wonder. Waterfalls plunge from dizzying heights, fed by melting snow. In spring, Bridal Veil Fall floats like mist on the wind. In early summer, Yosemite Falls roars in 3 cascades, making it one of the tallest waterfalls in North America. Beneath the cliffs and falls, meadows glow in morning light. The Merced River winds gently through the valley, reflecting the sky and granite peaks like a living mirror. For thousands of years, this land was home to the Ahwahneechee people. Along the central coast of California, where the Santa Lucia Mountains rise straight from the Pacific Ocean, lies a stretch of wild beauty known as Big Sur. For more than 90 miles, the land meets the sea in dramatic fashion. Steep cliffs, crashing waves, and winding roads that cling to the edge of the continent. This is a place where time seems to slow down. The air carries the scent of salt and pine. The sound of the ocean never fades. Morning fog drifts over the hills like a soft blanket, parting in the afternoon to reveal deep blue skies and endless horizons. The road through Big Sur, known as Highway 1, was carved into the cliffs during the 1930s. It is one of the most scenic drives in the world, with every turn revealing a new view more breathtaking than the last. Redwood forests grow tall and silent in shaded canyons. These ancient trees, some more than 1,000 years old, are among the tallest living things on Earth. Beneath them, hidden trails lead to quiet streams and waterfalls tucked deep in the wilderness. Big Sur has long attracted artists, poets, and seekers, drawn by its untamed spirit. High in the Sierra Nevada mountains, straddling the border between California and Nevada, lies a jewel of water and light, Lake Tahoe. At over 6,000 feet above sea level, it is one of the largest alpine lakes in the world. Deep, clear, and ringed by forested peaks, Tahoe is a place where the landscape seems almost untouched by time. Its waters reach incredible depths, more than 1,500 feet, and are among the clearest in North America. On calm days, the lake becomes a mirror, reflecting clouds, pines, and distant ridgelines in perfect stillness. Formed by a combination of faulting, volcanic activity, and glaciers, Lake Tahoe's geological story stretches back more than 2 million years. Yet even with such ancient origins, it remains forever fresh, shaped daily by changing seasons and shifting light. In summer, the lake glows in shades of blue and green, drawing visitors to its beaches, hiking trails, and quiet coves. In winter, snow blankets the surrounding mountains, and the region transforms into a destination for skiing, snowshoeing, and quiet moments beside frozen shores. The Washoe people, native to this region, call the lake Daw Agar, meaning edge of the lake. In the southern Sierra Nevada, where granite ridges touch the sky and rivers carve deep canyons, there stands a forest unlike any other. This is Sequoia National Park, a realm of giants where trees rise higher, grow older, and live longer than almost any living thing on Earth. Here, the giant sequoia reigns. Massive, ancient, and silent, these trees have watched over this land for thousands of years. Some have stood since before the Roman Empire, weathering fire, storm, and time. Their trunks are wide enough to drive through. Their crowns reach over 200 feet into the sky. Among them stands one tree known across the world, the General Sherman tree. Measured by volume, it is the largest living tree on the planet. Taller than a city building and heavier than 10 blue whales, it is not just a natural wonder, it is a monument to time itself. But this park holds more than trees. Rugged peaks rise above 9,000 feet. Subalpine meadows bloom with wildflowers in summer. Crystal-clear rivers tumble over smooth granite, feeding the forests below. In the far eastern reaches of California, where the land seems scorched by silence and time, lies a place of extremes. This is Death Valley National Park, the hottest, driest, and lowest place in North America. Yet despite its name, Death Valley is full of life. The valley floor stretches wide and bare, flanked by rugged mountain ranges that shift color with the light. In summer, temperatures soar above 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Rain is rare, shadows are sharp, stillness is deep. At Badwater Basin, the land sinks to nearly 300 feet below sea level. Salt flats stretch like a frozen sea, cracked into delicate patterns by the desert sun. Just beyond, the Black Mountains rise steeply, creating a stark contrast between depth and height. This landscape was shaped by ancient lakes, shifting plates, and time measured not in years but in eons. Wind and water have carved canyons, smoothed rocks, and painted hills in surreal shades of gold, red, and violet. Zabriskie Point reveals a maze of badlands, sculpted into waves of sediment. In the far north of California, where mist drifts in from the Pacific and rain nourishes the soil year-round, a forest of giants reaches toward the sky. This is Redwood National and State Parks, home to the tallest trees on Earth. These coast redwoods are living skyscrapers, with some rising over 370 feet. Their trunks are wide enough to hide a car. Their branches begin where the canopy of most forests ends. Some of these trees have stood for more than 2,000 years, quietly witnessing the rise and fall of civilizations. Walking through this forest is like stepping into another world. Sunlight filters through the tall canopy in soft golden beams. The air smells of earth and rain. Ferns and moss blanket the ground, while streams wind silently between the roots. Though towering and immense, the redwood forest is not loud. It hums with quiet life, birds nesting in high limbs, banana slugs gliding through the underbrush, and elk moving softly through open groves. This land was once home to many indigenous peoples, including the Yurok, Tolowa, and Cholula. Tucked along the rugged cliffs of California's Big Sur coast, there is a place where land, sea, and sky meet in quiet perfection. This is Redwood National and State Parks, home to the tallest trees on Earth. These coast redwoods are living skyscrapers, with some rising over 370 feet. The land sinks to nearly 300 feet below sea level. Salt flats stretch like a frozen sea, cracked into delicate patterns by the desert sun. Just beyond, the Black Mountains rise steeply, creating a stark contrast between depth and height.
There is a place where land, sea, and sky meet in quiet perfection. This is McWay Falls, a slender ribbon of water that flows year-round, cascading over granite cliffs onto the sandy cove below.
just 80 feet tall, the waterfall is not massive by size, but its setting makes it unforgettable. Surrounded by steep cliffs, turquoise waters, and windswept cypress trees, McWay Falls seems almost dreamlike, a hidden corner of the coast where time slows down. The waterfall flows from McWay Creek, making its final descent directly onto the beach and, at times, straight into the Pacific Ocean. This rare phenomenon, a tidefall, exists in only a few places on Earth. The scene looks untouched, but it carries a layered history. The land surrounding the falls was once part of a private estate owned by conservationist Helen Hooper Brown. In the early 1940s, she donated the land to the state in honor of her late husband, ensuring that the beauty of McWay Falls would be protected for all to see. Now part of Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park, the area is preserved as a natural sanctuary. High above the Yosemite Valley floor, where the air is thin and the horizon feels close enough to touch, there is a place that offers one of the most breathtaking views in California. This is Glacier Point, a granite overlook perched more than 3,000 feet above the valley below. From here, the scale of Yosemite unfolds in every direction. Half Dome rises boldly to the north, its sheer face catching the shifting light. To the east, the High Sierra stretches toward the sky in layers of distant peaks, often dusted with snow. Far below, the Merced River winds through forests and meadows like a silver ribbon. At sunrise and sunset, the light transforms this scene. Shadows stretch across the cliffs, and the sky burns with color, turning the granite walls to gold, then rose, then violet. In those moments, time feels suspended. Glacier Point is more than just a view. It is a perspective, a chance to see the valley from above, to understand the vastness of the landscape carved by glaciers over millions of years. The name itself is a reminder of the forces that shaped this terrain. Thousands of feet of moving ice once flowed through these mountains, sculpting the deep valleys and smooth domes left behind. East of the Sierra Nevada, where the mountains give way to open desert, there lies a body of water unlike any other in California. This is Mono Lake, ancient, alkaline, and otherworldly. Formed more than 760,000 years ago, Mono Lake is one of the oldest lakes in North America. It has no outlet to the sea. Water flows in, but it does not flow out. Over time, this has created a landscape shaped by salt, minerals, and slow change. The lake's most striking features are its tufa towers, strange, spire-like formations that rise from the water like frozen sculptures. These towers form underwater when calcium-rich springs meet the lake's carbonates. As lake levels dropped over the past century, many of these formations were revealed, creating an eerie and beautiful shoreline. Mono Lake is incredibly salty and highly alkaline, yet it teems with life. Brine shrimp thrive in its waters, and clouds of alkali flies swarm along the shore. These tiny creatures, in turn, attract millions of migratory birds. For species like the California gull and eared grebe, this lake is not just a stopover, it is a critical part of their survival. Where two great deserts meet, the Mojave and the Colorado, there stretches a landscape shaped by wind, time, and quiet extremes. This is Joshua Tree National Park, a place where the familiar gives way to the surreal. The park takes its name from the Joshua Tree, a twisted, spiky sentinel that grows only in the Mojave Desert. With arms reaching in every direction, these trees look like something from another world, silent guardians standing under vast skies. Some are hundreds of years old, their slow growth shaped by sun, drought, and time. But Joshua Tree is more than the trees. It is a meeting of geologies and ecosystems, where cactus gardens bloom in the lower desert and giant boulders rise in sculpted stacks across high plateaus. These rock formations, created by ancient volcanic activity and exposed by erosion, form a natural playground, a haven for climbers, hikers, and dreamers. In the early morning, the desert glows in soft pastels. At midday, it becomes sharp and bright. By night, it transforms again. With little light pollution, the sky above Joshua Tree is filled with stars. The Milky Way stretches across the darkness, and silence settles like a blanket. Rising alone from the northern California landscape, its snowy summit often wrapped in clouds, Mount Shasta stands as both mountain and mystery. Towering more than 14,000 feet above sea level, it is one of the highest peaks in the Cascade Range and one of the most majestic. Unlike the sharp ridges of the Sierra Nevada, Mount Shasta rises like a sentinel, solitary and symmetrical. Its volcanic slopes are layered with ancient lava flows and glaciers that gleam under the sun. On clear days, the mountain is visible for over 100 miles, dominating the horizon with quiet power. Mount Shasta is more than a mountain. It is a place of deep spiritual significance. For the Wintu, Modoc, and other native peoples of the region, it is a sacred presence, the center of creation, a living being, a bridge between worlds. These beliefs continue today, echoed in ceremonies, songs, and stories passed down through generations. The mountain also draws modern seekers, artists, writers, hikers, and those in search of meaning. Over the decades, it has become a magnet for myths and legends. Some say it hides lost civilizations, Others speak of energy lines, of visions and transformation. But for most, it is enough simply to stand in its presence. Beneath the rugged hills of Northern California, hidden deep within the limestone bedrock, lies a world few ever see, a cathedral carved not by hands, but by water and time. These are the Lake Shasta Caverns, a living labyrinth sculpted over millions of years. Above ground, Lake Shasta stretches wide, a sprawling reservoir with forested shores and winding arms. But far below its surface, nature has been working in silence, slowly hollowing out chambers and passageways, one droplet at a time. Inside the caverns, the air is cool and still. Light plays across formations that seem frozen in motion. Stalactites hang like stone chandeliers, while stalagmites rise from the floor like ancient towers. Flowstone drapes the walls in soft folds, and soda straws form in delicate rows. Every shape tells a story, written in minerals and moisture. These caves began to form more than 200 million years ago, when what is now solid rock was once a seabed. As water seeped through cracks in the earth, it dissolved the limestone and shaped the chambers that now stretch beneath the surface. Though long known to the indigenous peoples of the region, the caverns remained largely hidden until the early 20th century, when explorers stumbled upon their narrow entrance. In the heart of Northern California, nestled between sun-kissed hills and winding country roads, lies a valley known for its elegance, its rhythm, and its rich connection to the land. This is Napa Valley, a place where soil, sunlight, and human care come together to create something timeless. Stretching for just 30 miles, Napa is small in size, but vast in reputation. It is home to some of the most celebrated vineyards in the world, where rows of grapevines stretch in perfect symmetry across golden fields. Each vine tells a story of climate, of patience, and of deep-rooted tradition. The valley's Mediterranean climate is a gift to the grapes. Warm days ripen the fruit, while cool nights preserve their character. Morning fog rolls in from the nearby San Pablo Bay, wrapping the valley in softness before lifting to reveal clear skies and quiet hills. Here, winemaking is not just a craft, it is a way of life. Families have tended this land for generations, learning its moods, its seasons, and its subtle demands. From the deep reds of Cabernet Sauvignon to the crisp notes of Chardonnay, each bottle carries the fingerprint of its place. In the rugged heart of the Sierra Nevada, where granite walls rise like cathedrals and rivers run wild through deep gorges, lies a landscape of raw beauty and quiet strength. This is Kings Canyon National Park, a place where time is measured in stone, water, and towering trees. Carved by ancient glaciers and flowing rivers, Kings Canyon is one of the deepest canyons in North America. Its cliffs rise thousands of feet above the valley floor, where meadows bloom with wild flowers and forests whisper in the wind. The South Fork of the Kings River cuts through it all, swift and clear, shaping the land as it moves. The canyon is often compared to its more famous neighbor, Yosemite, but here the crowds are fewer and the wilderness feels closer. There is space to breathe, to listen, to wander in silence beneath the sky. This land has long been sacred to indigenous peoples, including the Mono and Yokuts, who traveled its trails and lived in rhythm with its seasons. Their knowledge of the land runs deep, rooted in generations of observation and care. Above the canyon, the high country opens into vast alpine basins, scattered with glacial lakes and granite peaks. Along the northern edge of California, where forests meet the sea and cliffs fall into restless waves, the Mendocino Coast stretches in quiet splendor. It is a place where time feels slower, where wind shapes trees, and where the ocean never stops speaking. Here, the coastline is wild and sculpted. Rugged bluffs drop steeply to rocky shores, tide pools gleam between sea stacks, and lighthouses stand as watchful markers on the edge of the continent. The Pacific Ocean crashes against the land, carving arches and caves into stone that has stood for centuries. Above the cliffs, fields of wildflowers sway in the breeze, and redwood trees reach skyward just beyond the shore. The forest and the sea live side by side, blending scent and sound in a way that feels both ancient and alive. The town of Mendocino, perched on a bluff above the water, carries the charm of another time. With wooden cottages, picket fences, and quiet streets, it reflects a history of logging, fishing, and resilience. Artists, writers, and wanderers have long found inspiration here, drawn by the solitude and the sea light. Before settlers arrived, this coast was home to the Pomo people, who fished its waters and lived in harmony with the land. Tucked away along the winding curves of California's Big Sur coast, hidden behind forested hills and narrow roads, lies a beach that feels like a secret. This is Pfeiffer Beach, wild, rugged, and unlike any other place along the Pacific shore. The first thing that strikes the senses is the color of the sand. In places, it glows with a soft purple hue, a result of manganese garnet washing down from the surrounding cliffs. This rare tint appears in swirls and streaks, like brushstrokes on a natural canvas. Then there is the wind, brisk and untamed, and the waves, powerful and constant, crashing against ancient rock formations. The most iconic of these is Keyhole Rock, a massive sea arch standing just offshore. At certain times of year, the setting sun aligns perfectly with the opening in the rock, casting golden light through the arch and across the sand in a moment that feels almost otherworldly. Pfeiffer Beach is not a place of crowds or comfort. There are no boardwalks, no shops, no noise but the wind and the surf. It is a place to watch, to feel, to breathe. The sea spray settles on the skin. Footprints vanish quickly. And the horizon always seems to stretch a little farther. Along California's central coast, where the land softens into coastal plains and the ocean rolls in with steady rhythm, a massive stone sentinel rises from the sea. This is Morro rock, bold, immovable, and shaped by fire and time. Standing nearly 600 feet tall, Morro Rock is the most iconic of the Nine Sisters, a chain of ancient volcanic peaks that stretch inland from the coast. It is the last in the line, the one that meets the ocean, half surrounded by water, always watched by the sky. Its presence is immediate and humbling. Dark and weathered, the rock appears as if it has risen straight from the Earth's core, its face rough with age, its base wrapped in tide and mist. It has stood here for more than 20 million years, a silent witness to countless tides, storms, and sunrises. To the Salinan people, Morro Rock is sacred. For thousands of years, it has been a place of ceremony, of story, of deep spiritual meaning. Its shape is more than geology, it is memory, tradition, and connection to the land. Just offshore, sea otters float in kelp beds, pelicans glide low over the waves. The harbor nearby bustles with quiet life, fishing boats, paddleboards, and the calls of seabirds carried on the wind. Tucked beneath the coastal bluffs of Southern California, hidden behind winding trails and sandstone cliffs, lies one of Malibu's most breathtaking treasures, El Matador Beach. It is a place of contrast and beauty, where land meets sea in sculpted silence. From the top of the cliffs, the view is sweeping, the Pacific stretching endlessly to the horizon, the sun casting long light across the water. But it's the descent that begins the journey. A narrow path leads downward through wild grasses and dusty rock, until sand replaces stone and the world shifts into something more elemental. On the beach, time slows. Towering sea stacks rise like sentinels from the sand, their rugged faces carved by waves and wind. Arches and caves invite quiet exploration. Each tide reshapes the shoreline, smoothing the stones, redrawing the edges, leaving behind shells and secrets. The ocean here is never still. It rolls and recedes, speaking in rhythms that soothe and surprise. The sunlight dances across the surface. And in the distance, dolphins sometimes break the surface, brief, graceful, and gone. Nestled between coastal mountains and sunlit hills, the Santa Ynez Valley unfolds like a quiet painting, soft colors, open skies, and a rhythm shaped by the land. This is wine country, yes, but it is also something more, a place where tradition, nature, and culture move gently side by side. The valley stretches just a few dozen miles inland from the Pacific, yet it feels far from the rush of modern life. Rolling vineyards blanket the hillsides, their rows neat and endless, changing with the light. In spring, wild mustard blooms golden between the vines. In fall, the grapes hang heavy, rich with promise. The climate here is a gift. Warm days, cool nights, and coastal breezes that drift in through mountain passes. These conditions make the valley one of the most diverse wine regions in the world. From bold reds to delicate whites, the wines born here carry the fingerprint of place and patience. But the valley is not only defined by what grows. It is also shaped by the communities who call it home. In towns like Los Olivos, Solvang, and Santa Ynez itself, time slows down. Along the windswept edge of California's northern coast, where rolling hills meet the restless Pacific, lies a quiet harbor shaped by tides and time. This is Bodega Bay, a coastal village where fog drifts gently through the morning and the sea speaks in steady rhythm. The bay itself is calm and sheltered, cradled by rugged cliffs and sandy dunes. Fishing boats sway gently in the harbor, their decks worn by years of salt and sun. Oyster farms line the shallow waters, a living connection between sea and table, tradition and livelihood. Beyond the harbor, the coastline stretches wide, dramatic and unpolished. Waves crash against the rocks in slow, endless motion. Seabirds soar above the bluffs, riding coastal winds. Along the beaches, the sand is cool beneath bare feet, scattered with driftwood and polished stones. Bodega Bay holds stories in its stillness. Indigenous Coast Miwok peoples once lived along these shores, gathering shellfish, building homes of tule reeds, and watching the ocean as both provider and spirit. Later came settlers, fishermen and farmers. Then came artists, drawn by the changing light. In the far reaches of Northern California, where pine forests stretch toward the sky and the earth still whispers of fire, lies a land of steam, stone, and silence. This is Lassen Volcanic National Park, a place where the planet's raw power lies just beneath the surface. At its heart stands Lassen Peak, one of the largest plug dome volcanoes in the world. Towering over the surrounding wilderness, it last erupted just over 100 years ago, sending ash and fire skyward. Today, the peak stands quiet, but the land around it still breathes, warm, restless, and alive. Across the park, Fumaroles hiss from the earth, boiling mud pots bubble with steady rhythm, and steaming vents rise through the trees like ghostly signals from deep within the planet. At Bumpass Hell, the largest hydrothermal area in the park, wooden boardwalks wind above the heat, a reminder that the ground beneath is anything but still. But Lassen is not just a place of volcanic force. It is also a land of deep forests, crystal lakes, and mountain meadows. In spring and summer, wildflowers bloom in waves of color across open fields. In winter, snow falls thick and silent, wrapping the peaks in stillness. At the edge of the Pacific, where the land gives way to sea and the city meets the sky, a structure rises through fog and wind, bold, graceful, and unmistakable. This is the Golden Gate Bridge. More than just steel and suspension, it is a symbol of ambition, resilience, and the power of vision. Spanning the strait that connects San Francisco Bay to the open ocean, the bridge stretches nearly 2 miles from shore to shore. Its towers climb nearly 800 feet into the air, wrapped often in mist, their reddish-orange hue glowing softly against the gray. Built during the depths of the Great Depression, the bridge was once called impossible. The waters below were deep and turbulent, the winds fierce. The fog relentless, but against every doubt, workers pushed forward with rope, with rivets, and with quiet courage. In just over 4 years, the impossible became real. When it opened in the year 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge was the longest and tallest suspension bridge in the world. But more than its measurements, it was the feeling it gave of connection, of movement, of something beautiful and bold rising from challenge. To see it for the first time is to feel both awe and calm. Along the southern coast of California, where the cliffs glow in soft amber and the sea moves with timeless rhythm, Crystal Cove State Park stretches gently between land and water. It is a place of balance, where wilderness, history, and ocean air meet in quiet harmony. The shoreline here runs for over 3 miles, a mix of tide pools, golden sand, and rocky outcrops. Waves arrive in even sets, curling toward the beach and retreating with whispers. Children search for sea stars among the stones, gulls drift in the updrafts, and the distant horizon melts into the sky. Just beyond the beach, sandstone bluffs rise in quiet formation, trails wind through coastal scrub and native chaparral, alive with birdsong and the rustle of brush in the wind. In spring, wildflowers bloom across the hillsides, vibrant bursts of orange, yellow, and violet, framed by the endless blue of the sea. Crystal Cove holds more than natural beauty. Nestled near the sand is a small village of historic cottages, weathered and timeless, once built in the 1930s and 40s as seaside retreats. Their faded walls and porches face the ocean, holding memories of long summers, slow days, and lives lived close to the water. Deep within the Sierra Nevada, where forests grow tall and rivers carve through ancient stone, a rare formation rises with quiet precision. It is unexpected, geometric, almost otherworldly. This is Devil's Postpile, a cathedral of volcanic rock shaped by heat, time, and symmetry. The columns stretch upward from the earth like the pipes of a silent organ, tall, straight, and nearly perfect. Most are six-sided, some reach over 60 feet in height. Stacked side by side, they form a natural wall, dark and smooth, as if placed there by human hands. But it was fire that created this, fire and the slow cooling of lava nearly 100,000 years ago. As the molten rock hardened, it contracted and cracked, forming these long vertical joints, a rare example of columnar basalt. Over the ages, glaciers came and went, carving through valleys and polishing the tops of the columns until they shone like worn stone tiles. The monument lies within a basin of wild beauty, where pine forests whisper in the wind, and the nearby San Joaquin River tumbles over rocks and into hidden meadows. Mule deer pass through the trees, eagles circle above, the sound of rushing water fills the air. In the quiet forests of Northern California, where tall pines stretch toward the sky and volcanic rock lies hidden beneath moss and soil, a sudden wonder appears, constant, clear, and alive with movement. This is Burney Falls, often called the crown jewel of the Shasta Cascade. The water spills from a cliff over 100 feet high, not just from the top, but from the very rock face itself. Dozens of shimmering streams burst directly out of the volcanic walls, flowing from underground springs, as if the earth has opened gently to release its hidden waters. Together, they form a waterfall unlike any other, wide, graceful, and endlessly flowing. Nearly 100 million gallons pour down every day, even in the hottest summer months. The sound is powerful but calming, like steady rain on stone. The mist rises, cool and clean, carrying the scent of river and pine. The pool below is a mirror of movement, deep blue, edged with mossy rocks and ringed by ferns. The water then flows into Burney Creek, winding through the forest with quiet purpose, continuing its journey through basalt canyons and shaded groves. In the far reaches of Southern California, beyond the mountains and deep into the wide open silence, a vast desert unfolds, wild, quiet, and full of hidden life. This is Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, the largest state park in California, where time stretches long and the land speaks in whispers. The desert here is not empty, it is a canvas of color and contrast. Rugged badlands ripple across the horizon, carved by wind and water over millions of years. Dry riverbeds wind like veins through the sand. Rocky canyons twist in tight, ancient patterns, their walls glowing gold and red in the low sun. In spring, if the rains have come, the desert transforms. Wildflowers bloom in sudden brilliance, fields of purple, yellow and white stretching across the valley floor. Cactus blossoms open like flames. For a brief moment, the stillness comes alive with bees. Birds and the rustling of petals in the breeze. The name Anza-Borrego honors both explorer and animal, Juan Bautista de Anza, who traveled these lands in the 1700s, and the bighorn sheep, or borrego, that still navigate its rocky slopes. High above the deserts of Southern California, where cool air drifts through pine trees and the world feels closer to the sky, Palomar Mountain rises like a quiet sanctuary. Covered in dense forests and brushed with mountain mist, it offers a different kind of California, one shaped by stillness, stars, and time. The landscape is unexpected. Tall conifers stand where most imagine only sun-baked valleys. Meadows open like soft green clearings between groves of oak and cedar. In spring, dogwood blossoms appear like scattered snow. In autumn, the leaves burn gold and amber in the crisp mountain air. Palomar Mountain is a place where the past and present meet in both nature and discovery. At its summit sits the historic Palomar Observatory, home to the once revolutionary Hale telescope. For decades, this silent giant gazed deep into the night sky, revealing galaxies, stars, and the edges of the known universe. Here, science and solitude coexist. Beneath the dome, astronomers studied the heavens. Outside, visitors walk through quiet trails, listening to the wind through the trees and the calls of distant hawks. Winding through the heart of the Sierra Nevada, the Sequoia and Kings Canyon Scenic Byway is more than a road. It is a journey through time, carved by rivers, shaped by granite, and framed by some of the tallest trees on Earth. The byway begins low, among rolling foothills and golden grasslands. But with every turn, the landscape climbs, rising into deep forests and past towering cliffs. The road curves gently, following the path of ancient glaciers and the restless Kings River, cutting through some of the most dramatic scenery in California. Here, the air grows cooler. Pines and firs rise tall and close. And then, without warning, the sequoias appear, enormous, silent, and timeless. These giants have stood for thousands of years, their bark fire-scarred, their roots deep in mountain soil. Driving beneath their canopies feels like passing through a natural cathedral, hushed and full of awe. The byway leads into Kings Canyon, one of the deepest canyons in North America, its granite walls towering above the rushing river far below. Waterfalls tumble from cliffs,